Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and from where you are. I am Nabi Shahadi, the Solar United President, and also I'm the CTO of Desert Technology, a solar panel manufacturer, developer, and EPC. I'm very pleased and honored today to welcome Ms. Simay Akar. Simay is the Chief Commercial Officer and co-founder of Inosis. She also has multiple hats, a lot of other functions, like for instance, a senior member and volunteer at IEEE. Simay Akar is an entrepreneur with a reputable corporate industrial background and experience in the energy industry. She specializes in photovoltaic manufacturing, battery storage for electric vehicle and renewable energy technologies. I would like to welcome you again, Simay, and I'm very happy to have you with us today. To start, I know you as a solar. You have been working with different companies in the solar industry, mainly tier 1 companies for many years. And recently I learned that you turned entrepreneur in the battery industry, which is, in my opinion, logical. So I would like to ask you two questions, the same question, but in two parts. How did you turn entrepreneur creating Inosis, and what are you doing at Inosis, please?
Thank you so much, Dr. Nabi, for this great introduction and welcome. Just like by knowing you and also, just like Solar United from the industry, from our solar industry for a very long time. So like that's an honor for me to be connected and also, just like have this coffee chat together with the valuable people here. And thank you everyone for joining. So as you mentioned in my background, so like I gained the experience in the photovoltaic industry quite a while. And I worked for the photovoltaic manufacturers, and I'm originally from Turkey. And I lived in China for several years and worked for photovoltaic manufacturers. And there, so like as we are a family in this industry, so like we have a great connection. So like during the years when I lived in China, so from my partners, those years they were friends, and originally they were colleagues before, and we were just discussing about emerging technologies and how to do better for the industry, how to take initiative, and what else we can do for the future of this industry. So like we ended up being an entrepreneur in the battery storage after a couple of years discussion during our coffee chats and our, just like a free time to connect network, because we are very, just like productive. We are all very productive. When we come together, we inspire each other and we talk about the future. We actually talk about emerging technologies, how we lead the emerging technologies for the better future and better tomorrow. So, well, I would like to also, just like address, there are so many emerging technologies and opportunities in our industry to lead the future. So that was actually our journey, how we started as an entrepreneur 2 years ago for NSS. And we are in the battery storage. We develop battery storage technologies by having an investor and supporter behind us who was actually manufacturer of the lithium batteries from the cathode material. So like we have our own lithium ion cells in the same manufacturing base and campus. And we actually have innovative solutions for the battery storage, lithium ion battery storage technologies for electric vehicles, for e-mobility, and also energy storage. So we started in 2020, this journey.
Yeah, you told me that you started in 2020 last time, and you set up your company in China.
In China.
In China, and we all think since, for instance, the virus starts until today, and today is much more amplified with what's happening, unfortunately, with the war and all these things, and we think automatically about the supply chain. And how do you see the future, for instance, for the new emerging technologies, development, setting up factories, production, and all these things? Are we going to continue to act global, local, or we're going to have a kind of constrained glocal, what I call it glocal, between both? How do you see the future?
Well, actually, during the pandemic, we have seen the importance of collaboration one more time. So first thing, we just realized we need to be energy independent wherever we locate. So, and we are so dependent to each other to collaborate too. So like, we need to be independent, but we need to get stronger together. So at the global level. So that is what is happening in the last 2 years actually is a good reminder for all of us where we are going as a human future for the humanity. So like, and also same for, especially for our industry, it's very similar direction. So like, we need to get stronger in our domestic energy needs for manufacturing, for investments, and by supporting all the policies. But then at the global level, so how much we collaborate will make us even better for the future. So this is also important.
I gotta be a little bit provocative in my question, and we always, because you mentioned also that the batteries, of course, that we use them largely, and since the beginning, I would say in the cars, and EV cars is now all the governments are pushing very hard, giving incentives and to make the shift. And there are a lot of countries that announced dates to phase out from the thermal engine. How do you see that move and that development?
Just like for battery storage technologies, so e-mobility is a very giant segment. But also, just like energy storage, renewable energy resources and the energy storage segment also supports each other. Because, like we are seeing the development for the electric vehicles. So there, as you mentioned, there are so many incentives and there are just like so many supports. But when we look at the big picture, so we're actually talking about the modern energy access, and we're talking about the infrastructure for renewable energy, renewable infrastructure, including renewable energy resources for electric vehicles. So we are talking about the green and sustainable cities. So like this is a big picture. So like we need actually sustainable electricity and resources and infrastructure for these electric vehicles as well. And electric vehicles development is really relevant to the battery storage technologies and also battery itself efficiencies. So like when we have enough resources for the electric vehicles and support for them to make them more accessible for everyone in many countries across the world. So we will actually keep having this question about, just like how to make the modern grid more stable and accessible for everyone. So where we need to continue supporting the renewable energy resources, engaging the energy storage technologies at the same time. So this is actually a big picture. So like when we have the balance for the support, that will be an improvement together. So that's why we cannot really separate energy storage for renewables from the electric vehicles. And we need to also focus on the infrastructure for these green and sustainable cities. Because when we have the electric vehicles, enough demand and resource for the electric vehicles, and when we talk about the efficiency of these electric vehicles, without facing any issue or like having the solutions for those issues in the infrastructure will make our life easier. So that's why we need to invest our energy and talk about innovation in the energy storage to make the cities sustainable and energy accessible for everyone.
Okay. So it's well understood that we have to focus on the further development in order to make the batteries much more reliable, much more efficient, increase the capacity, reduce the volume, because one of the big issues for the EVs is the battery, and we cannot put more batteries that can, the body of the car can host. And this is the big question. But one question before I ask another question, which comes to my mind, is we talk about the EVs as clean way of the transport. Okay, but we keep charging the batteries from fossil fuel. Is it realistic to consider these cars clean?
Well, actually, I want to take this issue from two different perspectives. In the last question also, I wanted to refer, just like for electric vehicles, if we just like charge these electric vehicles from, just like non-renewable resources, so it's not actually sustainable. And the other way around, so we're talking about, so there are two different environmental main concerns from my point of view. The one of them is just like a recyclable, how we will recycle the batteries. And the other one is, like the resource of the electricity for charging the electric vehicles. So if we don't have enough renewable, sustainable and renewable resources for charging, so then we're actually talking about, just like a not 100% sustainable solution. And for recycling battery that I want you to also highlight is overall as an environmental concern. It's really important. And we need to focus and invest more on the battery recycling structures. That this is also very important. We also, as InnoSys, we invest in recycling from our group company. So for batteries, recycling is very important issue because, like there are several ways to recycle. I have also some charts that I can show later, but this is like not just one way around. So like these batteries, especially for the high efficient batteries from the electric vehicles, can be used in several times and can be recycled in different circles. So like we need to make them more environmental and we need to make them more sustainable by using these recycling strategies. So if we actually reach these goals step by step in two different perspectives by investing in renewables for the charging stations and also, just like or the resource of the charging stations and or increasing the renewable energy resources in those cities, and then focus on the battery recycling technologies and doing more, taking more initiatives in that part. So we will actually talk about real sustainability.
Yeah, well, I think that you touched the heart of the question and the problematic that developing batteries is something which is needed, but also we have to think about the recyclability of these batteries, because today if we just look into the numbers, I think that in 2021 it was about maybe over 6.6 million vehicles sold worldwide, which is doubled from the 2020. It's incredible. And if we consider that this is at the early stage of the development of the EVs, so we have to think about the recyclability, because we're gonna, in a few years, we're gonna have millions of batteries aside, and we have to think about how we can recycle. So this will make me jumping in the other point that I want to discuss with you is the integration of the solar into the transport in general, starting from the cars. How do you see that concept?
Well, that's also very important, just like step for the development of the electric vehicles. And, just like, well, these, again, as in the full picture, just like we need to talk about the efficiency of the solar cells, which are applied to electric vehicles. And today, these electric vehicles, even at the R&D level, so still required to be charged or need for charging, and not enough electricity generation from their rooftop. So then when we have more new technologies and new solar cell technologies ready and efficient and sufficient for the electric vehicles, so, and actually we will talk about another level for these cars. And because at the R&D level, every single day we are seeing the different efficiency for the solar cells. So like, and it's changing, and we are talking about the need of these cells these days. And obviously in a couple of years, we will talk about more, just like integration of the roof for these electric vehicles. And then hopefully, but of course, this is not a dream, but these cars will generate enough electricity from their roof and then will be connected to grid. So then we will have more sustainable electricity from them. But today we are not. We are just talking about that in the future technology.
Well, we can think also a kind of compromise between generating the electricity from the roof when the car is standing, or is running, whatever, and also we can take the benefit from the carports, because
Yes.
the carports, it's everywhere, especially in the hot zones, countries. They have a car protected even outside. Here, for instance, in Saudi Arabia, most of the parking, they do have a carports.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very good surface indeed, in order to make a good usage, a best usage. And when the car is stopped, we can charge it by the solar. However, yes, here the question is going to be about the charging speed. How do you see the technology develops in that way for that point and that issue? Because today, if normally the average is 1 hour to charge a car.
That's a really good point. So this is very emerging technology for this field, and that will be also the changing. Everything will change when we have more solutions in this segment. And just like it's a need, because just like considering the consumers, this is like still not efficient for many countries. Even there are fast charging stations exist, and there are more investment on them based on the existing strategies. They're still not enough for just like for user perspective, and just like, and here we're just like seeing an increase in the charging R&D projects, EV charging projects, and that will be a big change for the market. So like, and now I would like to refer several actually emerging technologies there. One of them is actually the charging stations. The other one is more like, just like artificial intelligence solutions for these stations that where they connect and just have more integration in one country or region, so then you can have more access to the resources. So where they are not sufficient yet at many markets and regions and countries at this moment. So like these are very important.
Yeah, that would be a good solution indeed, and a good compromise. You can have electrical car. In my dreams, sometimes I try to think about a concept, and they said, well, we can have, for instance, the hybrid car, which is solar, but hybrid system charging when we brake, like for instance, in many cars today, thermal cars with hybrid system. And then we have the carport, and like that we can start talking in certain ways about clean car, because it's remain again and again the problem of the batteries recycling. It's battery recycling.
Yes.
Regarding the batteries technology, yeah, please.
I had actually penned down a couple of questions, but I think that of Nabi have been so interesting, so I was not interrupting. Now, one important one for me is if you look in the marketing side of your company, whom do you think is the bigger driver, photovoltaics or the electric car?
Well, from company perspective, it's photovoltaics.
It's photovoltaics,
and, yes, and in our structure, we have a group company behind, also have an investment in the logistics size electric vehicles itself in China, for mainland China. Mm-hmm. So we have already a running, just like structure business for electric vehicles. So we have the knowledge and, just expertise from electric vehicles. But it's another segment. So it's actually a big segment. But, just like overall, we're seeing photovoltaics as a huge advantage, not just for NSS, but for all the newcomers, because, like here, we need energy storage for the future direction of the photovoltaics and where it is coming right now. Well, for the last couple of years, but every single year we will talk about energy storage more and more. So it's actually the right time. So that's why we are seeing energy storage as the main segment from marketing perspective.
Is this also the reason why you went from PV to batteries? Okay.
Yes.
Now, if some of your friends is asking you, oh yes, nice lithium batteries, but they are not very environmentally friendly, what do you answer?
Oh, actually, the answer is already there from the very beginning of the business model, because we have the advanced value chain. So we have, because we are seeing this advanced value chain part of our business model with our group company. So like when we started the business, we already had the recycling basis in Chengdu. So from the group company, and we just like expand based on the needs, because we are growing by engaging the overseas market and energy storage from the foundation of Innoces in the business model. So like, and from raw material to cell and solutions and till recycling. So we are focusing on the full supply chain, advanced value chain as a whole. So like when we are asked for that question, so we just give exact the same answer. So like recycling is main part of the sustainable business. Without recycling, it's not possible. So then when we just discuss about the recycling and solutions, the answer is there. Environmental concern can be solved. And of course, there are always an environmental concern, but we are working to deal with these environmental concerns, because when we actually take initiative to deal with these by having these kind of business models, you know, like we will able to change the direction.
Thank you that I learned this, because I'm also very often asked this question, and I always say, no, now industry will find a solution to it. So obviously I'm right on that. And now my last one, I think Antonin also has some questions. Very short one. What's the major challenge currently in battery manufacturing?
Oh, the raw material, access to raw materials. Yes, okay. Because you know, like, and it's challenge for all the battery manufacturers. So like that is a huge wave, and especially in the last 2 years. So like, and us, so we own some of our raw materials, but of course there's so many raw materials based on your chemicals and many other, you know, just like for many other raw materials, like they, that's a challenge to have access to them and make them stable. And yes, this is the main issue.
Thank you. Antonin, you are eager to ask questions, right? And to chat. I see it on your face.
In fact, some questions are rising about really safety of batteries. When you see this huge burning, right, and many people, and I'm also seeing how can we avoid this, and what is the best?
Very good question. That's also very important, the safety of the batteries. So the battery management systems really plays role on that, because you know, the first thing, not every batteries and every chemicals are best solution for the requirement. So it's important to understand your battery technology and your solutions should fit well based on your requirements. And the second thing, battery management system should be designed or developed based on that need, because battery explosion from the cell is more possible than the rightly developed battery storage system. When the battery storage system is already there with the right conditions, so reduce the risk of this explosion. So, and of course, there's always a risk, but then based on all these right conditions, so like the risk can be minimized and could be also, you know, solved. That's always the way. But wrong applications will always bring this risk. There's always a risk there, but we should talk about the right solutions.
You think if at a system level of the battery, you can, let's say, predict a problem you could remove?
Yes, based on the different conditions, because we're talking about, even though just lithium only, we're talking about different chemicals, different conditions, different cycle times. There's so many dimensions, and requirements and the conditions should be analyzed very well to develop the right system, and that the risk can be reduced from our experience.
Thank you very much. I think we can do that. We can discuss further that between CSM and
absolutely, absolutely. That would be a pleasure. Nabi, Dr. Abi.
Yes,
muted.
Yes. Yeah. So if I jump also to that question about the recyclability, about, I would say, the lifetime, the capacity is an issue today. About solid-state batteries, what solid-state batteries development? What is from your point of view as a technology provider and developer of batteries? I know that you are focused on lithium,
yes.
But we can see also lithium solid state. You know that there is a company that starts the main production in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
There are others probably in China, and could be a good solution also.
Well, by vision, Innoces is supporting, even we are lithium-ion battery manufacturer today. So from the foundation of Innoces, so we actually have chosen our name as Innovative Sustainable Energy Solutions. So this is actually the full name behind the Innoces. So it's Innovative Sustainable Energy Solutions. So like we didn't use the lithium on purpose on the name, because we believe we need to keep developing all the technologies which is better for tomorrow. So like then that's why we are following all the technologies in battery storage closely and see what initiative we could take. Today we are seeing, comparing the many technologies, and based on our conditions, we are seeing the advantage of the lithium-ion battery solutions, but we are still following up the other ones closely. And also from our R&D team, we are trying to understand if we need to take action more for the other technologies, what else we could do tomorrow. So like we are not just like focusing on what we have. That's why I'm seeing a huge improvement there and their future. So we are not ready to go to another technology at this moment. But I think, just like if we develop these technologies in parallel at the same time, that will be also beneficial to each other. Because, like we are seeing another hope, then we do better for one, or we go the other one together in another direction. So this is also our vision. That's why, I personally also trust some more battery technologies are really promising. But then also, again, the same question, answer to the safety question. So like, it's really important to understand that technology should fit well for your requirements, because not all the battery solutions are the best for one requirement or one need.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, and this is also the same thing that I'm answering the problematic and about the renewable energy in generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
In generally speaking, I always say that the solar is among the solutions, among the renewables to answer the problem of the energy tomorrow. Solar could be wind, geothermal, whatsoever. So of course, that for the technology of the batteries, we have to consider and to see exactly which market segment, which application would be the best. I haven't been talking about that technology, which is the solid state batteries and storage. Thinking about the VIPV and the vehicle integrated photovoltaic, because if we can develop this in a very efficient, cost-effective manner, I think we'll be reaching some heights of the development of the solar vehicle, because we can integrate both things, a solar in the body, including the batteries in the body. The body of the car will turn as a storage element, and then automatically will reduce the weight of the car, and then we can increase the range. It's a really virtuous and an interesting point to think about. And
Totally.
I'm always pleased when I read developments about solid state batteries, because I think that we have to move from the era of the classical batteries to something, sorry, which is completely, say, new, not really new, but developed. And also thinking, because one of the question that I would like to ask you, because you are reaching the time, is the supercapacitors. For instance, we all know that capacitors have been invented almost 2 centuries ago, and they have been applied since the early 60s, late 50s, as a capacitors for all the electronic materials and devices. But today we start thinking about the usage of the capacitors to charge, and we turn indeed the appellation of the storage of energy is a power storage. The batteries are the energy storage, but the supercapacitors are the power storage.
Yeah.
And these kind of storage and batteries, they have infinite lifetime. They are not sensitive to the temperature. They are. I guess that you made some research and investigation on these kind of things. What is your opinion and your finding?
Well, just like I totally agree with your points. So like, and from our resources and, just like investigation, also have the same feeling, and also the knowledge we have today shows just like the same way.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know if Heinz, Anton, have something to add, because we reached the last minute, and I would like to maybe give one of you the floor to conclude, and if no question.
Well, I could go for hours, and the question is very, very interesting. But I think we are here to conclude, and we are over the time. I thank you very much. I hope we will have an opportunity, maybe at the World Conference, to continue the chat. Let me see the possibilities. And thanks again for this interesting replies, actually, and what you told us about the battery development. Thanks again.
Thank you, Heinz. Thank you, Antonin. And thank you very much, Simay. It was great. I really appreciate your participation and your time for us. It was really great. And I wish that to see the battery technology develops as fast as the solar cell developed. And I'm pretty sure they will do, and the cost will be reduced as well. Thank you so much. Brian, the final word.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. That was a very fruitful and fantastic chat together.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Brian, you are the master.
All I have to say is thank you, Simay. It was great seeing you again, and look forward to seeing you in person very soon, either in Munich at the EES or, of course, at the World Conference later in Milano. Thanks so much for your time. Good luck with your ventures, and we're very pleased to hear what you had to share today.
Thank you so much, Brian. It was an opportunity to meet with you here all. Great, and looking forward to meet soon.
Yes.
Bye bye. Let's have a real coffee in person in Munich.
Yes.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.